Welcome to FundForum International here in Copenhagen. I'm Joanna Simpson. Joining me now is Bryon Lake, Head of International ETFs, JPMorgan Asset Management. Thank you very much for joining me today.
My pleasure, thank you.
And just tell me, education is obviously a hot topic in the industry. What questions do clients have on ETFs?
So we get a lot of questions on ETFs because it's a really growing space and investors are really aware that this is an important kind of development that's happened in the industry. I think the biggest question that we find ourselves answering is clarifying that the ETF doesn't necessarily mean passive. The ETF is a wrapper, it's a technology, and what you put inside of that is the investment engine. And so that's probably the biggest question that we get, and we spend a lot of time educating around that.
And so how would you describe an ETF to someone, for example, who's focused on mutual fund buying?
Yeah, so the ETF is basically a mutual fund, right? It's a UCITS mutual fund, basically. However, it has some additional benefits. One of them being that it trades on exchange, another being that it's 100% transparent, so you understand exactly what you own in that. The analogy that I like to give is that of the music industry. So you think about vinyl records, CDs, tape players, streaming music and MP3s, and the ETF is really just like that. It's an evolution of how we interact with the market, how we get exposure. It has nothing to do with the type of music that we listen to. You can listen to rock and roll on vinyl, you can listen to rock and roll streaming, and in the same way ETFs are a vehicle, a technology if you will, that's evolved that now allows investors to have some of the conveniences of that technology. So we think the ETF wrapper just will continue to help investors build better portfolios.
And what are the benefits of the wrapper?
Yeah, so we touched on a couple of them, but the first one that you often hear is the fact that it trades on exchange. So you have intraday liquidity, if that's interesting to you. Some of our investors don't necessarily trade intraday, but they like to monitor the prices intraday. The news is constantly changing, following Twitter, there's always headlines that are moving the markets, and so understanding exactly what's happening in your portfolio real time, which is what the ETF allows, is one of the big benefits. Another benefit is the transparency. Understanding precisely what you own. You can go on our website or any other issuer's website any day and see exactly what's in the portfolio. So you avoid things like style drift or over-concentration of a certain exposure that maybe you weren't aware that you owned.
So what is JPMorgan bringing to the ETF investment space?
So we're really excited about building into this space, and we see it as a natural evolution of our overall business, and it's really a reflection of how we're seeing investors think about their portfolios, and so we're extending our capabilities to deliver them through this technology. We in many ways feel as though we have almost this last mover advantage. The ETF has been around for almost 25 years now, in fact a little bit more, and we've only entered the space in what I would say more recently. But because of that, we've been able to build out a platform that is, we think, absolutely competitive and completely modern in everything that we've done there. And probably more importantly, we've been able to think about how we approach this space very differently. So we see the entire opportunity set. We have delivered some passive capabilities through the ETF wrapper, but we're also delivering some of our proprietary active capabilities through the ETF wrapper that we think are really differentiating, and most importantly, are helping investors build better portfolios because of those capabilities that we have. And in particular, we're really excited about our active fixed income capabilities. These are areas where we're using our portfolio managers that have a platform that have been running money for years, applying that in a way that is enhancing the overall space and then delivering it through the ETF wrapper. And investors have been really excited about what we've been able to do there.
So what do you think the future looks like?
Well, I think the future's very bright for ETFs. I think as the asset management industry continues to evolve, you're going to see more and more growth within the ETF space. You're going to see more and more innovation within the ETF space where we're seeing different strategies delivered through that. I personally think that we're going to see exponential growth in AUM or adoption of ETFs in investors' portfolios. So right now I think the ETF market is about $5.8 trillion. I project that the ETF market could be $30 trillion by the year 2030. So pretty significant growth over that time period. And so much of that I think is going to come from your first question around investors having education, understanding, building confidence into what the ETF wrapper can deliver for their portfolios, and then embracing that with how they invest.
So a big future area of investment.
Absolutely. We think that this is a really exciting space and a very exciting industry.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.